Hello, today we're going to go over Chapter 2, Lesson 4, and today we're going to learn about these menu options here on Canvas, and also the zoom panel. So we're going to go over the zoom panel first. Basically, this is the zoom panel. You can adjust the size of it by clicking on this little bar here that turns purple and gives me a two-sided arrow, and you can drag on it by left clicking or holding down, and it also gives you this size of your canvas, and then it gives you this little pink box that you can click and drag around your little menu canvas here, and you can drag it all around and select exactly where you want to see. And then it also has these little options down here where you can zoom in or out using this little arrow here, and it'll give you the percentage that you're zoomed in on. So you can either zoom out or zoom in. And we also have the angle, which will rotate your canvas depending on which side you move the little cursor to. And it'll also give you the percentage you are angled at. There you go, we're back at 0. And then over here is also another way of zooming in and zooming out. You can click on the minus or plus size to move in or out. We have the stop, which will stop at a certain point for you. It'll just go all the way out. And this will also bring you back to the original position. So if I go all the way over here and click the top one for the zoom, it will bring me all the way out, and if I go all the way over here, it will bring me back to the original position. And that is pretty much it for the zoom bar. We're going to make it smaller again. And then over here we have these options. We're going to start with a stabilizer. Stabilizer refers to how stable your lines or marks are on the paper. So we're going to go and use the pen tool, and we're going to zoom in using the zoom in panel, and I'm going to draw. As you can see, my lines are pretty straight. We're on stabilizer 15 right now, and we're going to go to 0. It looks pretty decent right now. And we're going to go back to stabilizer 15. You can't really tell because I'm accustomed to using these kinds of programs, but when you first start, like if I go really slow, maybe zoom in. Maybe if I just use a bigger brush. Let's use a bigger brush. Let's see if that helps. Okay. I'm going to make a straight line. You see it's kind of wiggly. Now we're going to go to stabilizer 15, and that's going to give me a straight line. Like I have to go out of my way to make it wiggly. And if I just have it on 0, it's really easily wiggly. This is great for new users, and also helps you practice getting better with the program, so that way you can still make good art and not have really wiggly lines. This is great for intricate detail, and it's just a good way to be able to do the work that you want on paper, because when you start using a tablet, your lines can be shaky because it's not the same as drawing on paper. So, and also the program is really sensitive to your movements, so it can make the lines shaky. Also, it's pressure sensitive. And that is what the stabilizer does. And it has all different levels of stabilization. Okay, the next option we see is normal. And if we click on this little 2 arrows things, we got this flip. And basically it just inverts your work horizontally. This is great to see how proportions are. Sometimes when you're drawing you can get a left to right curve, which means that one side of your drawing may be slightly higher or lower than the other side, and when you're drawing and it's facing the right way, you can't really tell that it's facing, that it's you can't really tell that the height of it is different, but when you flip it you'll be able to tell that your work is slanted or slightly higher. So it's really great to get something perfect. See, this looks alright, and when I invert it you can see it is terribly crooked, and now it doesn't look so bad. Terribly crooked, not so bad. Now if I can try to draw it straighter. Okay, now that looks pretty straight. That looks better than the first one. We're gonna invert it, and it's still pretty crooked. And what I can do is I can straighten it out. Oop, that was way too big. And straighten it out, make it look straighter. And you're gonna invert it again, and it's still crooked. So we're gonna go back and try to make it straighter again. And this is just a great way to make sure what you're drawing is straight. Now it looks pretty decent. Now it's not so crooked. So that's what that's for. And then in a previous section we went over these. The rotating. Basically just click on that and you can rotate your image, and if you hit this little square it will bring you back to your original. You can also select here. It's for specific rotations. And you can go back to 0, 0. To bring you back to the beginning. Then we have this. This is how much you can zoom in. You can zoom in by 2%, which brings you all the way out. And then you can zoom in all the way to 1600. And it brings you in really close. You can just use that for zooming in. Or you can just use this plus or minus here, and if you hit stop, it'll bring you out to your canvas completely. And then we have hide or show selection. Basically, when you select something, I did not go over this in the selection area. Let's select this. Now you can see these two options. You can click hide or show selection. And that will hide the little selection lines. And then if you click on this, it's invert selection, so now everything else is selected and not what I originally selected. And then you can also hit clear selection up here, and basically that'll clear everything that is selected, and the selection is now gone, so you don't have to go all the way up to this to clear the selection. You can just hit that. And this up here is the undo button, so I can undo and now my selection is back, or I can redo and now it's gone again. Undo, redo, undo, redo. And that is it for this lesson. That is all the little menu bars. Oh, I don't know if I went over this. We also have this, which will close your canvas without closing the program. And we've went over this in a previous lesson. And then over here we have completely minimize, which will bring your canvas down to the bottom, and all you have to do is click it and it will open back up. And that is it for this lesson. I will see you in chapter 3.